And welcome to Colonial Sports Center. I'm John Hanna.
And I'm Jack O'Brien.
And we have a lot to cover today, don't we, Jack?
No, we do, John. We've got men's basketball, women's basketball, men and women's lacrosse, and men's hockey. We'll see how they fared in Buffalo in the Atlantic Hockey Tournament. A very fun show planned out tonight,
Yes,
John.
and we also have Malik Johnson sitting down with one of our rowers in our sort of pre-Aquaquan Sprint interview that we have annually, it seems. But you mentioned the men's basketball. After beating Cornell in the first round of the CollegeInsider.com tournament, they hosted the Presbyterian Blue Hose. Could the Colonials continue playing postseason basketball? Let's head to the highlights from the North Athletic Complex to find out. So, Colonials against the Blue Hose here. First, we're going to have Giannis Mendy, a little spin and a floater to get that one down early in the game for the Colonials' first points. And now, off the inbound, a little in give and go by the Williams. Here we have Maddie McConnell, who we'll see later, driving and the bucket. And watch this right here. Big slam off the alley by Kobe Thomas. And here we have again Kobe Thomas, Josh Williams on the drive. Kobe Thomas here and the slam. And time winding down here in the first. Malik Petaway with a buzzer beater to put the Colonials up. On the second half here, we're going to have again the Williams connection. Josh Williams is going to find John for three. And then here, we're going to have Maddie McConnell driving and the layup to give the Colonials, bring the Colonials close. However, it would not be enough as the Colonials would drop this one to the Blue Hose. But for 4 years, the heart and soul for Robert Morris has been senior guard Maddie, the greatest showman, McConnell, and he's been a leader on and off the court for the team. After the loss in the second round game against Presbyterian, he addressed the media in what would probably be his last time in a Colonials uniform. Let's find out. What he said.
I knew it was going to come to an end soon. I didn't want it to come to an end today, but it hasn't hit me yet. I still feel like I have to wake up for practice tomorrow, but you know, I told the guys I tried to lay the groundwork for you guys, and I think the coaches helped me do that, and we did a good job. And this team's going to be back next year, and they're going to be a team not to be messed with. So this team isn't finished, and I know I'm not trying to make it about me, and I know I'm going to miss this place, but I just try to lay the groundwork for those guys in the future.
After winning the 2019 NEC Women's Basketball Tournament, Robert Morris traveled to Louisville, Kentucky for the first round of the NCAA tournament, in which they would face the University of Louisville. The Colonials came to Kentucky looking to shock some people with a strong effort and maybe even a win against the top-seeded Cardinals. Shocking, yes, but not the way the Colonials intended, losing 69-34. ACC Player of the Year Asia Durr and Sam Furing co-led Louisville in points with 19. Natalie Villafort had a career-high 13 points for Robert Morris, which now stands as the record for points from a Colonial freshman in an NCAA tournament game. One of the largest differences in this game, other than the score, was the margin of points between points in the paint for each team, being that Louisville was able to score 36 from inside, while RMU was held to a mere 12. Nonetheless, this marked the end of a season and a team that went above and beyond all year long. The Colonials finished the 2019 campaign with an overall record of 22-11 and boast a conference record of 16-2. After the loss, head coach Charlie Buscalia commented on the future of women's basketball program and how they use this experience to advance as a whole.
If you build a program by bringing in student athletes that will create stability and work hard, at least that's the way that myself and my father, really believe in how to do this. And, going forward, we'll continue to recruit student athletes that'll come in and represent the program well and have a heart to go out there and play on a stage like this and listen to instruction and have faith in what I'm talking about. Just going forward the same way that we built it going. We are very routine driven and we believe in what we believe in. And, just like this stage here, we didn't change anything about our preparation. So going forward, we'll continue to build it. It's always a big plus when you could work as hard as we worked this year to get here with a young team and then to have the reward of getting to the national tournament. It's awesome. And, a lot of the recruits that we're looking at and things like that can see at a mid-major level, there's a great experience there, to choose to go to a mid-major and play in meaningful games, conference tournaments, conference championships, and then get to this stage. And whether you win or lose, when you get a draw like Louisville, you go out here and you leave everything on the court and you earn everything you get. That's the message going forward, and that's what we'll continue with the program. Just that's our culture, and we won't change anything. We'll just keep hoping to grow and to continue to get these early commitments like we had, like Bella Possett, who was first team All-State, who didn't have the best game shooting the ball today, but nobody can even think about how proud I am of her. She was a big reason why we got here, and somebody that committed to us as a sophomore really believed in the program. Seeing this kind of stage and seeing the kind of meaningful games that she can play in, that's what this means for the program.
Certainly some promising words there from Coach Biscaglia, but what do we have for the folks after the break coming up?
Well, after the break, we're going to have men's hockey coming up for you, see how they did in the Atlantic Hockey Tournament. We'll be right back after the break.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. That's when I met Narnese. She started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. After becoming the only 8th seed in Atlantic hockey history to advance past the quarterfinals, the men's hockey team took on American International College in the semifinal of the Atlantic Hockey Tournament in Buffalo, New York. Let's head to the highlights to see if the Colonials could get back to the conference championship for a 4th consecutive time. All right, Colonials taking on the Yellow Jackets in this first clip. You're going to see the puck go into the corner. Michael Loria hard on the forecheck. Mantenuto's going to get a stick. Loria with a nice hesitation play, and Tonge roofs it on the backhand to knot this one up at 1. Nice play in the corner. Loria with a nice hesitation play throws it over to Tonge, and we've got a tied game. Later on, though, in the 3rd period, Colonials down again, extra attacker on. Israel's going to throw it to Tonge. He'll send it down to Perkusic. Nice pass to Mantenuto in front, and the Colonials tie this game up late in the 3rd period with the extra attacker. Great determination from this team, what we've seen a lot throughout the tournament. Mantenuto in the right spot at the right time. Great goal to knot this one up, give the Colonials a chance at history. But in overtime, it would be Blake Christensen with a wraparound goal to send American International to the AHA Championship and RMU back to Moon Township. If anything, the men's hockey team showed consistency and determination when many wrote them off early in the tournament. Following the loss in overtime, head coach Derek Schooley addressed the media about his team's impressive run towards the end of the season and the heartbreak of being sent home earlier than they'd like.
You know, we've been here 6 years in a row, and I've stood up here at the podium 5 times, sad, but you wouldn't trade it for the world because it means you got here, and you got to get here to win a championship. Once again, your goal is to play in the Final Four and win a championship, and if you're going to go through some ups and downs, and you're going to go through some tough situations, and we were able to overcome some tough scenarios and in a tough January. You know, we were 500 at Christmas and really responded well and put ourselves in a position where, you know, you can make a run at the end. And I said credit to our players, credit to everybody involved to not stop believing in where we are. We're still a young hockey team, and this experience will be very good for our hockey team. We do lose some important seniors and some guys that you know, have been unbelievable Colonials.
And welcome back. Some good words there from Coach Schooley, but we're here now with Michael Greco. Thanks for joining us.
That's good to be here.
And you heard him talk about the just the leadership and the durability that this team has. Why don't you just run us through some of those senior leaders that this team has?
Sure thing. We're going to start off with Alex Tonge, excuse me. He had 56 goals, which put him in 6th overall. He had 82 assists, which puts him in 5th. He had 138 points. Can you believe that? 138.
Wow.
That's that's a lot. Which tied him for 4th overall. And for as far as plus minus, he had +2. And up next, we have Michael Luria. He had 23 goals, 33 assists, 56 points, and he had -19.
So you mentioned Tonge. He's actually going on to continue his career in Florida. So just what has Tonge brought to this team as this senior leader?
Well, he brought just a lot. I'm just basically, I can't really say anything. He's just overall just a huge part of the team. As soon as he steps on the ice, I mean, that other team just better watch out.
I think one thing that Tonge did bring to the team, not to call you off, Mike, but what he brought to this team was an offensive prowess where when he was out there, he was a difference maker every time he was out there on the ice.
Of course.
There was never a shift where you really didn't notice him. He always found a way to get near the net, get around the net. He was always in the right spot. Again, we see how when he shows up in times of need, towards the end of the game with the extra attacker, he makes a great pass to Nick Perkusic, which sets up that goal. And also you have to look at how he gets the Colonials on the board early, a great leader.
Absolutely.
And what would you say, where does he rank top 5 scorers of all time? Where does he land on that list?
For what I have here, he had 3 power play goals, he is 4th overall in Army history, which is pretty darn good.
Yeah, I'd say so. Obviously, Ferguson, Lynch, 2 of the good guy, but yeah.
This top 5 list here, they obviously deserve to be there.
No, and especially when you see how he ranks up against guys like Cody Wido, Zach Lynch, Brady Ferguson. I mean, we talk about Brady Ferguson a lot, even though he's no longer here. But being such the player that he was, the fact that Tonge can get into that kind of elite company really shows you the kind of career he had here at Robert Morris.
Right.
All right. Thank you again, Michael Greco, for joining us. But stay tuned with us, because after the break, Malik Johnson sits down with one of our rowers, obviously, ahead of our sort of annual Occoquan Sprint interview, let's say. And then we're going to have softball starting their non-tournament season against Cleveland State. How would the team fare? Find out here on Colonial Sports Center.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
I was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. After starting the season at 1-6, the men's lacrosse team was looking for a change of pace to kickstart the success many of us saw last year. An opportunity to do so presented itself on Saturday against Mount St. Mary's. Let's check out the highlights to see if RMU could jumpstart their winning ways once again. All right, RMU taking on the Mount. Right here, we've got a great shot from Brad McCulley. Rips one from the right side to get the Colonials on the board early. Right here, we've got Trey Arnold from exactly the same spot, but the play from Alex Hagar to set that up, unreal. Grabs a ground ball, enters the box. Third clip, we've got Matt Schmidt getting a pass down low, making a couple good moves on GLE and throwing a ball low. Great goal there for the Colonials, starting to chip away at this lead. Corson Keeley will then get a pass down low, and he'll make a couple quick moves to get RMU back within half. Now we've got Austin Popovich throwing another shot low. Colonials again chipping away in the third quarter. Got Ryan Smith will get a pass, really makes his way to the middle of the slot, puts another one in. All right, Colonials will score 5 unanswered goals in the third quarter, but would give up 6 unanswered goals in the fourth, resulting in a 14-11 loss.
After winning their last 2 games by a combined score of 38-15 over St. Bonaventure and Gardner-Webb, the Robert Morris women's lacrosse team hosted the Radford Highlanders, looking for their 3rd win in the row. Would the Colonials be able to take down the Highlanders? Let's head to the highlights from Joe Walton Stadium. So, Colonials at the against the Highlanders here. First, we're going to have last week's guests, Mackenzie and Melanie Gandy, combining for a goal. Melanie wide open in front of the net. And here we're going to have, again, from almost the same spot, Shannon Lynch is going to be right there as well. But put the Colonials up by 1. Now here to put the Colonials up by 2, Melanie Gandy walking right out in front of the net. Wide open there. And again, guess who it is? The Gandy sisters. Mackenzie finds Melanie with 5 seconds left. But now on to the second half here. We're going to have a free position bounce pass here by Cleo Kerr. Just easy, right between the wickets for the goaltender. Not much she could do. Now Mackenzie Gandy going to tie things up, and this would send it to overtime. And here we're going to have Mackenzie Gandy again beating Maddie Mashewski for the OT winner to give the Colonials the 13-12 lead.
Well, women softball kicked off the 2019 season with a pair of games against Cleveland State University on Wednesday. The Colonials were looking for a clean start to the season after their disappointing outing at the UMBC Retriever Classic, in which they went 1-4 in the 5 games they played last weekend. A clean start is exactly what they got, winning 6-5 in walk-off fashion over Cleveland State. With the score tied 5-5 in the bottom of the 7th, Erica Bell, who was 3 for 4 in this game, was able to knock one into left center, which set her up on first base. Natalie Higgins would then be walked, who set up a runner on first and second. And then ultimately, Abriel McCartney would then rip a single into right center to bring Bell home and give the Colonials their first win of the 2019 season.
So after winning that first game against Cleveland State in the doubleheader, the Colonials were back on the diamond only 30 minutes later. Could the Colonials sweep the Vikings on the day? Let's see the stats from late Wednesday afternoon. So unfortunately, they weren't able to get it done. Cleveland State winning that one 8-5. Riley Rees for Cleveland State, 4 at-bats, 3 RBIs, 3 hits. But for the Colonials, there were a few bright spots. Laura Coulter pitching 5 innings, only 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts, so really a bit promising there. I know it's a 5-8 loss, but they really showed that they could hang with Cleveland State after that doubleheader. Kelly Highsong for Cleveland State, 7 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, and 4 strikeouts.
Like John Hanna said earlier in the show, Rachel Gress, we have you here. You've been here. You were here last year, almost a year to the day.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the Octagon sprints a little earlier, but before we started the show, you told me about your dad, who's become the almost soccer mom of the rowing team.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who, like, obviously their parents can't come, and rowing is sort of a hard sport to have a lot of people go to. So my dad will come and he has his binoculars and he'll watch and he'll ask, like, who's in what boat, and he'll cheer them on and just try to give as much support as he can.
Now, you didn't play rowing in high school, so does he know anything about rowing at all?
No, he really knows nothing about rowing, but he really has he has the passion for it, and he just gets excited, and he just knows if we cross the finish line first, that was good.
All right, so last year you debuted in the Octagon sprints, and you got a gold medal. Does that add any pressure at all to this year's race?
It definitely adds some pressure. Last year I was a novice, so first year rowing with all other first years, so it definitely was a little bit easier. And this year, along with another novice and 3 other sophomores in the first boat, it's definitely a lot of pressure to perform and make sure that we start off the season as well as we can.
Okay, so what have you guys been doing to start off the season in a strong fashion?
So we had winter training, which was just a whole bunch of conditioning, and we kept all the energy that we had from the fall into it, so we just kept on getting faster and faster. And then every spring break, instead of going out, we go to South Carolina and just go out and practice on the water like 2 to 3 times a day and just get as prepared as we can for the season.
Okay, so one thing about rowing is that you guys practice really early in the morning. How have you kind of adjusted for that, not having rowed in high school?
It definitely, I started college waking up early, so it was something that I've just always been doing, and it's just something you have to just get into the mindset of doing. You got to go to bed early, and you have to stay on top of your schoolwork so you don't have those late nights.
Okay. Now, you played a lot of sports in high school. Mm-hmm. Can you give me a quick list of some of them?
Yeah, I did tennis, I did track and field. I played soccer and basketball more in middle school, and then I did karate for about 10 years.
Okay, so which sport do you think has helped you the most with rowing?
Definitely karate, because you have, body awareness, and that's really important in a boat. They always say that swimmers or dancers were some of the best people to be in a boat, so you have that body awareness to keep the balance in the boat and everything.
Why swimmers and dancers?
Because dancers, obviously, they have to have as much body awareness and control of their body to get all the moves, and swimmers, they have to do the same repetition every single time, so rowing is a lot of the same repetition and trying to get every single move as perfect and in as time as possible. So if you feel one side of the boat is down, or your side is down or the other side's down, you have to figure out how to fix it as fast as possible.
So one thing that you did, one thing that you also do is that you help with a live sports broadcast over the weekend. Can you talk about putting that in the schedule too?
Yeah. So, a lot of the rowers, we all try to like be as engaged as we can on campus. So we really get out there and do as much as we can to spread like our name and just everything that we're doing. So I really enjoy live sports because I get to meet all the other like sports teams and talk to them. Like softball, I take pictures of them every Tuesday. So like you get this community and you're talking with all these people to just know everybody that's out there, and so that we in turn can get some support in any rowing events that we end up having in the future.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on, Rachel.
Thanks.
And when we come back from break, John Hanna and Jack O'Brien, you guys are going to give us the games to watch this week on Colonial Sports Center.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad. That's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their firsts with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfies. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look! Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Thank you, Malik and Rachel, for a wonderful interview. But John, what kind of games do we have coming up this week?
Well, last week, winter ended finally, but spring began, and what better way to start spring off than some men's lacrosse? Even though they've gotten off to a rocky start, obviously 1-7, lost their past 5. Actually, the past 5, all of them have been decided by 5 goals or less. So they're playing St. Joseph's in Philly, excuse me. Last meeting, big matchup. May 5th NEC Championship.
Wow, so these teams do have some sort of a history. Should be an interesting game. But if you enjoy high-energy offense and a team that can score as well as they can defend, boy, do I have the game for you folks at home. My game of the week is women's lacrosse taking on Drexel University on Saturday at 3 o'clock. The women's team has been able to jump out to a 6-2 record this season and aren't showing many signs of slowing down. Last week's nail-biter against Radford was evident enough that this Colonial squad does not quit until the final horn blows. Not to mention the 2 pummelings of Gardner-Webb and St. Bonaventure, in which the Colonials scored a combined 38 goals, only allowing 17. One reason for this rate of success is Mackenzie and Melanie Gandy, who have combined for 20 goals in their last 3 games. The Twins have a knack for showing up in big moments, combining for 8 goals in the overtime winner against Radford, thanks to Mackenzie Gandy. Folks, this team is red hot as of now, and like I've stated before, there are no signs of slowing down as far as I'm concerned.
But those were only 2 of the games. We have a lot more. There's a lot more games this week, so let's take a look at some of the upcoming games for the Colonials this weekend. Softball's on action against Central Connecticut. The lacrosse games, as we mentioned.
Exactly. And again, rowing at the Occoquan State, that'll be going on all day. Make sure you can keep along with live stats. We've also got some golf going on. Weather's getting nicer. Brings out the warm weather sports. I like the feel of it. I think everyone else will at home too.
So do I. And then softball at Bryan at 12. So a lot to cover. I actually was out on the range earlier this week at golf. So yeah. Great weather out there, great weather.
Exactly. And again, right around the time of the Masters, we get men's golf starting up. Take another look at men's lacrosse, a big game for them, trying to turn that season around, get a new change of pace of success.
And all of them are at home, or all of them away. So, but I'm John Hanna.
I'm Jack O'Brien. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.